And hello, everyone. Welcome to this Thursday edition.
Thursday it is.
Thursday it is of FSU Weather. I'm student meteorologist Troy Fields.
And I'm student meteorologist Pete Delagrata. Hope October is treating you well as we wind into the fall type season. But what's on everybody's mind tonight is the new addition in the Gulf of Mexico.
Yes, that is Tropical Storm Karen, that is, and it just recently formed last night. And as of the 5 o'clock advisory, it has winds of 65 miles an hour, so approaching hurricane status.
65 miles per hour is a strong tropical storm. We're going to get into all of that on the weather show this evening. However, if you live in the northern Gulf Coast, anywhere from Louisiana to the west panhandle of Florida, Karen may be bringing some rain to your weekend.
Yes, and and landfall is expected to occur Saturday between, as we mentioned, anywhere between New Orleans and Apalachicola, Florida. And guess what's on Saturday, Pete?
Saturday. Well, I happen to think of a Maryland game at Florida State. Is that what you're thinking?
Yes, I'm thinking the exact same thing, and things are looking not so good.
Little hit or miss.
Yeah.
We'll definitely bring that into our forecast as we talk about kickoff versus Maryland, noontime kickoff for Florida State. Hopefully they can fight off the weather as they also fight off of Maryland as well.
And bring that umbrella, but over the course, if you're going to the game, umbrellas are not allowed. So bring that poncho because you're going to need it. Now let's shift things over to Pete with your review.
Yes, Tropical Storm Karen is, of course, the top weather headline. Regardless, though, of where it goes, it looks like a rainy, windy weekend for us. But we're going to move ahead to the next week, and you can expect drier and cooler conditions coming. I know we've had a rainy summertime, but that's also going to be this weekend. Until, of course, Wednesday next week or so, we should see more fall-type conditions as we focus ahead. A big picture of the country shows a lot of activity along the northern tiers. We have severe weather threats and a blizzard going on here in Montana. But more close to home, you already see some of this moisture funneling its way up from Tropical Storm Karen along the northern Gulf Coast. Here's a picture of it right now. It looked a lot more impressive on satellite earlier today, but you can see a little bit of convection, or what we call heavy thunderstorms, firing up north of the center. And as that wraps around, it's going to bring bands of moisture into the Big Bend region this weekend, late Friday into Saturday. You can already see those clouds overneath the peninsula. 66 overnight tonight, variable cloudiness and comfortable. Winds should remain easterly at about 5 miles per hour. But for more on that forecast, we're going to stay tuned a bit for later on into the program, and that's a sneak peek of what we have going on so far.
Yeah, 66 degrees, looking quite comfortable, isn't it, Pete?
Yes, it is. I do remember, though, having those 70s and 75 where it was just muggy, and thankfully we are out of those 70s.
I am done with those days, Pete. Done with them.
So what about a blizzard, Troy? That's another big story that's going on.
Yes, we do have that storm season that gave the record flooding in the Northwest. That's moving on toward the plains region, like the Dakotas, and that is going to give people over there some snow.
Yeah, 60s is something that I would prefer over any type of blizzard, as they have those blowing snow and winter weather advisories all across the northern Great Plains. However, we're going to send it out to a wall and look at our local forecast with Nina.
Thank you very much, Pete. Yeah, today we saw a high of 87 degrees, was right on par with our average of 85 here in Tallahassee, and our low was 68 degrees, a little bit warmer than it has been because of the cloud cover in the area and that approaching tropical storm Karen. Now, current temperatures in the area is sitting at 85, like I said, partly cloudy across the area, so we're not going to be seeing too much of that sunset. And we could be seeing some storms off of the coast in the Gulf of Mexico, but they shouldn't be coming in tonight at all, possibly later on tomorrow. Dew point of 64 degrees and humidity at 50%. A little bit drier than it was yesterday, but the humidity is going to increase as we head into next week. Current temperatures across the area, a smattering of 80s across the board, 88 in Bainbridge, 85 in Tallahassee, 80 in Apalachicola. Beautiful weather across the area in the district and across most of Florida. But we will see the current dew point is starting to increase as we head into the rest of the week. 64 degrees in Tallahassee, 64 in St. Mark's. A little bit more moist, 73 in Carabel and 73 in Apalachicola because they are on the coast and they are getting that sea breeze in their region. But water vapor is going to show all that moisture coming up from the Gulf. This is Tropical Storm Karen down here in the Gulf. Could be potentially a hurricane by tomorrow. We will keep you updated into the rest of the forecast, possibly doing an update tonight at 11. Stay tuned to watch. But there's going to be a little bit of a dry front right here. That's going to push in a little bit, but we are going to see most of that moisture head in through the rest of the weekend and possibly into the week. But this futurecast is going to show that Karen is going to move up, potentially becoming a hurricane tomorrow, right around 3 o'clock. So it could potentially impact us tomorrow or into Saturday. It might even affect our game. So we might want to watch out for that. When it heads in, it is going to bring in a lot of moisture, possible flooding, possibly 6 inches of rain forecast into places like Panama City, Destin, Pensacola even. But we will be keeping you in tune for the rest of that. But tonight's forecast. Tonight, 66 degrees, a little bit cooler than it was last night because that cloud cover is going to be spotty. Variable clouding, comfortable. East winds 5 to 10 miles an hour, not much to look at there. Tomorrow, beautiful day, yet again, less than a 20% chance of rain, peaks of sunshine. Clouds are going to increase throughout the rest of the day and into the evening as the storm gets closer. Forecast high of 86. Beautiful Friday as you're heading out there. Beach forecast. Great day to go to the beach, maybe the last chance for the rest of the weekend. East 10 to 15 miles an hour. Surf at 2 to 4 feet. 7-day forecast as I step out of the way. Beautiful yet again, but those rain chances are going to be picking up as we approach the weekend. But as we head into next week, it is going to be drier and cooler. We're going to send it off to Southeast with Alex.
All righty. Thank you very much. Now, what's the main story today? Warmer than average temperatures throughout our area. 87 degrees in Tallahassee, 89 in Orlando, a little cooler down towards the southern part of the peninsula, and 80s is just the main story throughout our neck of the woods. What is that saying? Well, it's saying not much in the way of any main significant weather pattern, not yet anyways. We're going to get to that in just a bit. Current conditions sitting at 84 degrees in Tallahassee with some partly cloudy skies, a little more cloudy as you get up towards the north and west, as that is where our frontal system is, and that is what's going to be carrying Karen out into our neck of the woods come Saturday and Sunday. Right now, satellite radar showing a lot more rainfall than we have seen in previous days. A lot of it over the northern Gulf. I don't expect this to reach us. It looks like it's tracking towards the west. So New Orleans, areas near Mobile, looks like they will be receiving the brunt of this rainfall. Tallahassee looks like it's going to remain in the clear, which is good news for us. Down towards the southern tip of the peninsula, a lot more rainfall impacting areas such as Naples, closer to Fort Myers. Fort Lauderdale's looking a little more dry, so that's good to see. Water vapor showing a big flare-up of moisture. The green is the moisture, and this is associated with Tropical Storm Karen. It looks like it's dying down a bit, but on visible satellite radar, it's actually getting more organized. So don't let this fool you. Still a lot to be focused on with this tropical system, and it is going to be pushing up towards the northwest and then making a turn towards the northeast. And you can see the feeder bands already starting to impact our neck of the woods, not bringing us rain, but increased cloudiness. A lot more cumulus and cirrus will be the story for tomorrow, but not that big in chance in rainfall. Futurecast showing Tropical Storm Karen right off the coast of Cancun, and as we put this into motion, it looks like it is going to drift a little towards the west, possibly becoming a minimal hurricane. With that in play, we will still have cloudy skies as the moisture begins to impact our area. This storm is kind of lopsided. A lot of the moisture is on the northeast side, so we will be receiving a lot of the brunt of the impact, even if we don't receive a head-on hit. Futurecast, as we continue to put this into motion, it will likely die down back into a tropical storm, but flash flooding is possible anywhere from Apalachicola all the way to possible Baton Rouge, Louisiana. You're looking at a lot of rain impacting our area. Tonight's forecast calling for 66 degrees around average for our time of year, getting warmer as we head down towards the south, and another above average day for tomorrow, sitting at 86 degrees for Tallahassee. It looks like it'll be a pleasant end to the week, but will the weekend light up? We'll let you know later. Back to the desk now.
All right, well, weekend, definitely something to watch with that storm moving through. That's another story, though, across the northern tier of our country.
Yes, and that storm season in the Midwest, the cold side's bringing snow towards portions of the Northwest, but we have the severe weather side of it to tell you.
Severe weather in the upper Great Plains, Midwest region. In fact, 15 million people from Wisconsin to Oklahoma are in the risk of a slight risk of severe weather, including tornadoes. So it's a widespread outbreak in the works.
Yes, anywhere along the I-35 corridor from Oklahoma City all the way towards Wisconsin really needs to stay tuned this weekend because, as we mentioned, the possibility of severe weather does exist. So just be vigilant at that.
Looks like all corners of the country, with the upper Midwest, including the Northwest blizzard, and of course the Southeast with watching Karen, October is winding up to be very active nationally. And to get a better picture of that across our nation, we're going to put up the big map to show you what exactly is going on all across the country. Watches, warnings, and advisories. Troy, what do you have for us?
Yes, very, very busy across the United States. As we told you about earlier in the vest, we have warnings along the Gulf Coast. As we mentioned, Tropical Storm Karen is the big concern in our region, and what you see in the purple is hurricane watches, and hurricane watch means that hurricane conditions are possible up to 48 hours. So, as Tropical Storm Karen inches closer towards the Gulf Coast, things will begin to deteriorate. So you want to make sure that you stay tuned to your local weather authorities for any further updates. And we also have winter storm advisories in the Northwest, and we'll talk about more later in the segment. But your current conditions, you see that contrast in temperatures. That is the cold front that will eventually be responsible for weather. In the 80s out ahead of the cold front, 84 New Orleans, and very, very cold in the Northwest with 34 degrees for your current temperature in Billings, Montana. Now, as you can see nationally, we have a lot going on, so let's get right to it. Zooming in the Southeast, not a lot going on right now, but you can clearly see this feeder bands from Karen beginning to inch its way towards the Gulf Coast. So traveling along that I-10 corridor, will be a little bit slippery going into tonight and in the weekend. So you're going to want to make sure that, if you have any plans, of course, game day is on Saturday. So, and unfortunately, that's when Karen's expected to make its approach to the Gulf Coast. So you really want to stay tuned for that. And just if you have any plans, just have your NOAA weather radio or tune into your local weather stations for any further updates in the matter. But another big story is the Northwest, and we have a little low pressure system that is spiraling around Wyoming and the Montana region, and that is giving folks in the region snow. And as we head to the weekend, portions of the region can even see blizzard-like conditions. And of course, really heavy snow. Some places could even see up to a foot of snow, so really just want to be tuned for that. As we look ahead towards the Northeast, being the quiet spot in the map, we still have some showers popping up in the region, but not a washout by any means. So travels along I-90 are not looking too bad, but just keep out for the possibility of showers. And we're going to look ahead towards your airport delays, and there's not a lot going on, so as right now, good air travels at that. Tonight's forecasts, mild temperatures along the Gulf Coast of 70s in the I-10 region with coolness in the Northwest in the 30s. And tomorrow's forecast, more the same with temperatures in the upper 80s, the lower 90s. But we're going to shift things locally to Tallahassee. And how are things looking across the region, Shane?
Well, thank you, Troy. And while we're talking all about Karen oncoming over the weekend, let me tell you, it was a pretty beautiful day out there today. We saw a high of 87 and a low of 68, so our temperatures were just about average. And as the afternoon progressed, we saw some clouds come in from the south, the signs of Karen approaching. Currently in the capital city, it's 84 degrees and partly cloudy out there indeed. As we see some clouds move into the area, we're going to be seeing more of the same tomorrow, in fact. Across the greater Big Bend region, well, we're seeing 80s all over this map, 84 again in Tallahassee, 79 in Carabel, and 85 in Valdosta. So we're averaging out about 85 across the Big Bend region. It's warm, but we are expecting a bit of a cool down with all the precipitation coming this weekend. Currently on our radar, we're not seeing that much, just some light ground interference here. However, we will be seeing a lot more rain in the future. And as we broaden our scope, we can see these clouds and moisture coming up from the southern Gulf of Mexico. Those are the outskirts of Karen, and they're coming on quick. We're going to be seeing them possibly by game time on Saturday. Let's take a closer look at that right now. Here's Karen moving steadily north to our region and possibly strengthening to a Category 1 hurricane that is having winds gusting over 74 miles per hour. Now by Friday mid-afternoon, it won't quite have made its way to shore yet, but we will definitely be seeing some clouds in our region. Now over the weekend, this cold front will come in from the west, and that's really the deciding factor in what happens. If the storm strengthens, we could see Karen veer off to the east and we could get a lot more precipitation. If the storm weakens, the front could basically weaken it a bit more and we'll see a more westerly track with this. However, flash flooding is a definite concern, and we want to keep everyone on their guard about that. Tonight, however, we will see a low of 66 degrees with indeed increasing cloudiness, but there isn't much chance of rain, so it would be a very nice night to get out, take a walk around the area. Tomorrow we'll see more of the same as today, high of 86 with a bit of sunshine, and we're not ruling out rain entirely. However, it does seem pretty unlikely that we're going to see too much precip tomorrow. That being said, it's not a terrible day for boating, but I would keep your boating plans in check until Karen passes through our area. Here's our pollen forecast. We're seeing considerable high levels of pollen at the current time, but they're only moderate, so that shouldn't be too much of a concern. The week ahead to come, well, here's the story. We're seeing our greatest chances of rain with Karen over the weekend, naturally, with 40% on Saturday, 80% on Sunday, and then the rain chances tapering off again over the upcoming week. For more on Karen, let's send it out to the desk with Ryan and Alex.
Yes, Karen is the top story today, and a lot of impacts are looking likely with the storm. Anywhere from 4 to 8 inches of rain of flash flooding possible when Karen arrives on the northern Gulf Coast. And also, most of the thunderstorms are on the eastern side, so whether or not we receive a direct hit, Tallahassee looks like it's going to take considerable amount of damage.
That's right. The good news is for the game, we're looking Saturday. The timing could be holding off a little bit. Most of it should stay off to our west for the time being until later in the weekend. So Sunday is looking, as far as timing is concerned, for the Tallahassee Big Bend region, where we will begin to see the effects as far as heavy rainfall, and some gusty winds are possible too.
Yes, Pensacola Bay, Chattahoochee Bay, and Mobile Bay also going to receive quite a lot of storm surge possibly. I'm looking at maybe 2 to 4 feet around Louisiana, right?
That's right. The entire Gulf Coast could be dealing with water level rises, and much of Florida's Gulf Coast all the way down could be seeing water level rises too. And I'm going to talk about Florida here in just a couple seconds. There we go. Current conditions in Florida. For right now, everybody's looking fairly decent. Temperatures not too warm across the state, not too cool. Everybody's pretty comfortable right now. 81 degrees at this hour in Pensacola. Take advantage of that sunshine while you can, because it's going to be wet over the next couple of days as Karen makes its approach from the south. 84 degrees in Tallahassee. We've got low to mid 80s across the northern tier of the state and mid to upper 80s across the southern tier of the state, unless you've got some rain showers in the area, as southwest Florida around Fort Myers does. Key West looking pretty nice. Wouldn't you want to be there? 84 degrees in sunshine. Always nice in Key West, where it's 5 o'clock somewhere. Current winds, you can see the general flow here. We've got winds are going to be out of the east with high pressure off the east coast of the United States. So the peninsula of Florida is going to be seeing this onshore flow. That's going to keep things moist over the next couple days, going to keep things breezy. It's also going to keep those showers in play as moisture from Karen begins to surge upward. For the most part, it's going to stay the same over the next couple days. Here on the satellite and radar, you can see the general flow where we've got the clouds and the showers. Karen on the bottom of your screen here, and showers extending all the way up through the northern Gulf of Mexico, beginning to feel the effects of moisture surging northward towards the Florida Panhandle. Most of northeast Florida staying dry for the most part now, and that's going to remain the case through the first part of your weekend. But southwest Florida, again, that's where we've got most of the rain. We're feeling the greatest effect of Karen's moisture right now. Across central Florida, we've got pretty clear skies for your theme parks in Orlando. Looking good there. Tampa Bay also looking really nice, but we'll zoom down to southwest Florida where we've got most of the action. A few showers in Miami-Dade County extending across Alligator Alley and up the southwest Florida coast from Fort Myers, Naples, all the way up to Charlotte Bay, Port Charlotte. These areas are where we're going to see most of the shower activity for the next couple hours into tomorrow, and this will begin to surge northward as Karen makes its northerly move towards the Gulf Coast and spreads all that moisture up the east coast, including Tallahassee, which is dry for right now, and we're going to stay that way through the next couple days, so that's some good news there. On the futurecast here, we've got Karen in the central Gulf of Mexico moving northward. It's going to make its approach. We'll see showers extending all the way up the east coast of Florida through the weekend, and on Saturday into Sunday is when we will see landfall somewhere along the central Gulf Coast. As it does so, we're going to see rip current southerly flow moisture surging forward for all of the entire state of Florida, and as this cold front makes its approach, we could see flash flooding possible in the Panhandle, where we're going to be seeing tropical storm conditions for your Saturday into Sunday. Tonight's forecast looking pretty nice. Temperatures in the 60s and 70s for the northern part of Florida, 70s for the southern part of Florida. In tomorrow's forecast, we're all going to be pretty warm, back up into the 80s and 90s with clouds and showers pretty intermittent across much of the state. So we're not going to be seeing widespread sunshine, unfortunately, in the Sunshine State.
Oh, let's take it to Pete with our tropical update.
Hey, thank you very much, Alex, and we'll get right into the bulk of what we've been talking about throughout the program. It is October 3rd. We are past the peak of hurricane season. However, definitely tropical concern with Karen is our tropical update. We'll look at our name list. We've gotten all the way through Karen. So far, our only hurricanes have been Ingrid and Umberto. That's a Category 1 storm, so we have yet to actually see a severe, or what we call intense, major hurricane. That's Category 3 or higher. Karen is, of course, a tropical storm. And since it's October, it may follow a climatological path. These are average paths across the Central and West Atlantic and Gulf of Mexico, where we have waves coming through Caribbean, moving up north, and then they get caught in the westerlies, which are cold fronts. And this time of year, they sag farther south, and they will move those storms off to the northeast, up the coast. This is a very similar scenario to what we have involved with Karen. And here's a picture of the infrared satellite. This will show you the cold cloud tops. These are high in the atmosphere. Anything in the magenta, the pink colors, and orange colors. And that was earlier today, was very impressive in the Yucatan Channel. It's since died down a little bit, but the center is right here, if you can see that, and there is a new center of convection, or strong thunderstorms, forming around the center. Should continue to maintain its intensity of at least 65 miles per hour in the near term, and there's an outside chance that this actually becomes a Category 1 hurricane. That would be sustained winds of 75 miles per hour or greater. Here's a visible satellite which is illuminated by the sun. Although the last few frames begin to fade away throughout the day, you can see the little low-level twist. That's the center of circulation, and the bulk of the activity is on the eastern side of the storm. That's due to upper-level shear. So when this approaches Florida, most of the activity is going to be in the northeast quadrant. So for us in Tallahassee, that means a greater chance of rainfall and perhaps a little severe weather. We'll take a look at that a little bit later. Right now, Karen is situated north of the Yucatan Peninsula and is forecast to continue moving to the north and eventually northeast as it begins to curve ahead of an approaching front. What that means for the entire southeast is a good chance of rain from New Orleans eastward, and flash flooding is possible. As with any landfalling system, it is possible to have tornadoes in the right front quadrant of the storm. So it's a good chance to review any plans that you have, and this is just a spaghetti model plot of different outliers. The official forecast is down the center of the guidance, so anywhere from Biloxi, Mississippi eastward towards Apalachicola is in the cone of uncertainty. What you see here are watches, warnings, and advisories, and in pink, that is a hurricane watch, means conditions of hurricane force are possible within the next 48 hours. For more, though, on all of Tropical Storm Karen, let's send it back to the desk with Ryan and Alex.
Yes, those tropical storm force advisories extend anywhere from Louisiana all the way to near our neck of the woods in Pensacola.
That's right. If you're under a watch, whether it be tropical storm or hurricane, that means you can expect conditions to be affecting your area within the next 48 hours. As soon as we get warnings issued from the National Hurricane Center, that means conditions, tropical storm or hurricane, are expected within 36 hours.
Yes, that means it's rather imminent and preparation should already be complete. So when you're under a watch, that's the first step. You might want to start getting your supplies ready. What are some good supplies? I know a few gallons of water for each member of the household are always good.
That's right. Stock up on gas for your generators, your cars, non-perishable. We don't want perishable food items.
Yes.
Non-perishable food items. Make sure your flashlights are all in working order. Anything. It's been a while since we've had a landfalling system along the Gulf Coast, so we want to brush up on some of this stuff.
Yes, but for our last local and hopefully a brighter look to the forecast, let's take it to Nikki.
Thank you guys so much. We're going to go ahead and start off our look at the local with by the numbers. We did reach a high of 87 today, so not exactly at that 90 mark. A little bit on the cooler side, making our way into fall, but our low is sitting right here at 68 degrees, so a little bit above average for this time of year, but still nothing too unpleasant. Let's go ahead and take a look at our current conditions right now. Sitting at 84 degrees, partly cloudy skies. We're seeing a little bit more of a cool down, especially as the night does tend to increase with that chance of precipitation moving into the weekend. Now, current temperatures right here, 84 degrees in Tallahassee, like I said, 81 connecting the dots here, Monticello, Wilma, and over here in Quincy, and off to my east, Perry sitting at 82 degrees. So just looking quite comfortable around the Big Bend. Current dew points right now, though, also looking fairly nice, 68 degrees in Tallahassee, as well as in St. Mark's, Also up here in Bainbridge, just sitting in the upper 60s, lower 70s in terms of dew points. Now, the big story, what everyone is talking about, is this tropical storm sitting right off to the south of the Gulf of Mexico currently. Tropical Storm Karen, as of 9 a.m. this morning, was announced, and it will be making its impact into the Big Bend and also across into Louisiana and Mississippi as well. So possibility of it becoming a Category 1 storm, definitely there. It is looking to intensify, but will it actually make landfall as a Cat 1? That's the big question. And then also, where is it going to make landfall? Will it be making landfall over to the west or more to the east? Well, the deciding factor is really going to be this cold front that you see off to the west over there in the north. That'll be pushing on in. Now, if that thing slows down, that'll make things a little bit different. The track will push off to the west, but if it does speed up, that'll intensify the storm possibly and also moving it off more to the east. So the cold front's really going to be the deciding factor. How fast our storm moves are two big impacts. Now, where it will fall is what we were talking about, but one thing we are sure of, flash flooding. That is definitely possible. That flow will be bringing a lot of moisture, a lot of bands, a lot of rainfall across most of Tallahassee, especially in the Big Bend area. So rain is definitely in the future for the remainder of the weekend, especially into Sunday. Let's go ahead and take a look now at our water vapor. We can definitely see that flow we were talking about and the pop-up of moisture, especially in Panama City, Tallahassee as well, but mostly off to our west. That rain won't be making its way into our area until Sunday, but definitely something to keep an eye on, especially if you do have plans for Sunday afternoon. We're going to go ahead and take a look now tonight at tonight's forecast. 66 degrees in Tallahassee, 63 in Monticello, looking quite comfortable across the Big Bend, 60s really across the board, 66 also down there in Perry. So looking quite comfortable, nice conditions tonight, especially before the storm goes ahead and passes on through. Tomorrow, sitting across in 80s for most of the tonight. Pollen forecast, if you're looking at that, looking fairly high, but the 7-day forecast looking pretty good, especially into the beginning of the weekend. More rain, though, of course, with Karen. Let's send things back now to the desk.
Thanks, Nikki. And hurricane season finally getting a little action, but you know, October isn't a stranger to tropical activity, especially along the northern Gulf Coast, where in the past we have seen multiple storms, hurricanes and tropical storms, affecting the Florida Panhandle, like Opal, a big memorable one in 1995 in October that made landfall near Pensacola.
Yes, not only were there October storms, Dennis and Ivan struck in both July and August respectively, and those storms caused quite a lot of damage as well. The Gulf Coast is quite memorable for receiving a lot of the brunt of these very strong tropical storms and hurricanes. Katrina, as we all know, one of the bigger ones in the Gulf Coast.
That's right. The good news for Tallahassee, though, we appear to be on the fringe of things, so we will only be seeing some rain chances, increased rain chances from the fringes of Karen. You can see on Sunday your forecast there, 80% chance of rain, but Saturday looks pretty decent for the game, so I wouldn't cancel any plans as far as football games are concerned.
Yes, the game starts early in the day, so I think the rainfall would come after the game, so we should all have a good Saturday before it starts getting muggy, but by then, us meteorologists, I'm sure we'll be enjoying it, but you can always watch us anytime at livestream.com/FSU Weather, and I'm student meteorologist Alex Cordero.
I'm student meteorologist Ryan Smithies. Have a great evening.